Imagine a place where time seems to have stopped, a village hidden among mountains where each dawn brings the hope of better days. It is there that Pedro lives, a young man whose heart beats to the rhythm of dreams larger than the horizon he knows. Have you ever felt that life has something grand reserved for you, even when everything around you seems to say otherwise? Today, we will follow Pedro's journey, who turned challenges into opportunities and showed that determination can change destinies. If you believe in the power of stories to inspire and transform, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This way, you'll always stay updated with narratives that touch the soul and warm the heart. Get ready to discover how Pedro found his path and learned lessons that only time can teach. At the top of the green hills, the small village where Pedro lived woke up to the crowing of roosters and the soft murmur of the brook that meandered between adobe houses. The dirt streets were witnesses to the laughter of barefoot children and the warm conversations among neighbors who knew each other by name and shared the joys and hardships of simple country life. Pedro, a young man with bright eyes and a restless heart, helped his parents with daily tasks. His father, João, was a man with calloused hands from hard work in the fields, and his mother, Ana, dedicated herself to sewing clothes for the local residents in exchange for some money. Together, they barely managed to put food on the table, but love and unity were never lacking in that family. While walking through the fields at dusk, Pedro dreamed of a different future. He wished to see his parents resting from the heavy work, his siblings attending a decent school, and his community thriving. But confined by the village's limitations, he felt like a caged bird, yearning to soar higher. One night, around the table lit by the flickering light of a lamp, Pedro noticed the fatigue on his parents' faces and made a decision that would change his life forever. He decided to leave for the big city in search of opportunities that did not exist in his homeland. With a heavy heart, he communicated his decision to his family, who, although apprehensive, supported his desire to seek a better future. At dawn, with a small backpack on his back and his parents' blessing, Pedro left the village. Each step was a mix of hope and fear of the unknown that awaited him. Little did he know that the journey would be filled with challenges that would test his determination and courage. As the urban horizon drew before him, Pedro carried not only his dreams, but also the responsibility to transform the lives of those he loved. The big city was a completely new world, full of lights, sounds, and possibilities, but also obstacles he would have to overcome. Follow Pedro's steps in this exciting journey where each challenge is a disguised opportunity and each defeat a valuable lesson. Will he manage to realize his dreams and change his family's destiny? Stay with us to find out. Upon arriving in the big city, Pedro was immediately engulfed by urban chaos. The streets buzzed with hurried people, honking cars, and lights that dazzled his eyes, accustomed to the twilight of the village's starry nights. Every corner revealed a new and unknown world, and the feeling of smallness in the face of the metropolis's immensity was overwhelming. Determined to find work, reality proved harsh. Without experience or formal qualifications, he faced numerous rejections. Days turned into an incessant search for opportunities, while nights were spent in crowded shelters or on park benches, where cold and loneliness were his only companions. One afternoon, exhausted and disheartened, Pedro sat on the steps of a large company. It was then that he noticed a poster announcing a competition for innovative ideas aimed at finding solutions to social problems. The prize offered was significant, but more than the money, what caught his attention was the possibility to make a difference. With his heart reignited by hope, he decided to participate. Without resources for sophisticated materials, he used sheets of paper and pencils borrowed from a public library. He dove headfirst into developing his idea, remembering the difficulties faced by the farmers in his homeland. His proposal was to create an app that directly connected small rural producers to consumer markets, eliminating unfair intermediaries and ensuring a fairer price for the products. The idea would not only benefit the farmers, but also bring fresh and quality food to the cities. Nights were long, but his passion for the project kept him awake. The library became his refuge, and each page written was a step toward his goal. He faced doubts and insecurities, but the image of his family and community gave him the strength to continue. On the day of the presentation, Pedro entered the auditorium with his heart racing. He observed the other contestants, many of them accompanied by teams and using modern equipment. He felt a lump in his throat, but remembered that he carried with him the voice of many who had no opportunity to be heard. When he stepped onto the stage, the spotlight momentarily blinded him. He took a deep breath and began to speak. His voice, initially shaky, gained strength as he shared his vision. He described the farmers' stories, the challenges they faced, and how his solution could transform lives. The audience listened attentively. The judges exchanged glances, impressed by the authenticity and depth of what was being presented. Pedro had no elaborate graphics or fancy technical terms, but he had something more valuable: truth and passion. When he finished, a deep silence filled the room. Then, a solitary applause echoed, followed by the entire audience standing up in admiration. Pedro left the stage with tears in his eyes, feeling that regardless of the outcome, he had managed to touch people's hearts. Hours later, during the announcement of the winners, his name was called as the grand winner. The emotion was indescribable. In addition to the cash prize, he would receive support to develop his app and turn it into reality. With resources and support, Pedro dedicated himself fully to the project. In no time, the app was launched, and the response was immediate. Farmers from various regions joined the platform, and the benefits were felt throughout the production chain. The success was such that the initiative gained national recognition. Pedro became an example of how determination and the will to do good can overcome any obstacle. And finally, he was able to return to his village, not only as a successful man, but as someone who carried with him the hope and opportunity for a better future for all. As the golden sun rose on the horizon, Pedro boarded the train back to his village, anxiety mixed with joy in his heart. As the familiar landscape passed by the window, he imagined his family's and friends' reactions upon seeing him again. Upon getting off at the small station with a suitcase in hand and a smile on his face, he was surprised by his younger brother Lucas. "Pedro, you're back!" exclaimed the boy, running toward him. "Lucas, how you've grown!" replied Pedro, hugging him tightly. "I can't wait to see everyone." Walking together through the dirt streets, they were greeted by Dona Maria, the neighbor who always treated him like a son. "My dear Pedro, it's so good to have you back," she said, her eyes welling up. "It's good to be home, Dona Maria. I have so many new things to share." Upon arriving at the family's humble home, his parents awaited him at the gate. "Mom, Dad!" Pedro shouted, picking up the pace. "My son!" said his mother Anna, embracing him warmly. "We knew you could do it." "We're so proud of you," added his father, João, giving him a gentle pat on the shoulder. During dinner by candlelight, Pedro detailed all his adventures in the big city, from the initial struggles to the victory in the competition and the success of the app. "So you helped not only our family, but many other farmers?" asked João admiringly. "Exactly, Dad. And this is just the beginning. I want to do even more for our village." In the following days, Pedro gathered the community in the central square. "Friends, I know we all face challenges daily. That's why I decided to invest part of what I've achieved to improve our land. We will build a new school, improve the roads, and bring resources so our young people have better opportunities. A buzz of excitement spread among the people. "You always thought of us, Pedro," said Señor Antonio, the village elder. "This is my home," replied Pedro, "and together we can transform it." As the projects came to life, Pedro made sure to be present at every stage. One day, while helping build the school, he was approached by Maria, a young teacher. "Pedro, I've never seen the children's eyes so full of hope. You can't imagine the impact you're making," she said with a sincere smile. "I'm glad to hear that, Maria. Education is the key to a better future." She looked at him with admiration. "You are an inspiration to all of us." As the improvements advanced, the village flourished. Children ran joyfully through the new paved streets. Farmers had easier access to markets, and the school became a symbol of a new beginning. On a starry night, gathered with his family on the porch, Pedro reflected on his journey. "You know, if it weren't for the challenges we faced, maybe I would never have had the motivation to go further," he confessed. "Challenges shape us, my son," said Anna, stroking his hand. "That's true," agreed Joam. "And you've shown us that with determination, we can overcome any obstacle." Now I would like to ask you, who are following us, if you were in Pedro's place, how would you like to positively impact your community? Share your answer in the comments. We'd love to hear your ideas. As time passed, Pedro's village transformed into a place of prosperity and hope. The seeds he planted not only blossomed into physical structures, but also in the hearts of the people. The community was now an example of unity and development, showing that when someone believes in and invests in their people, everyone reaps the benefits. One day, during the inauguration of a community center, Pedro took to the stage to speak. With shining eyes, he said, "When I left here, I carried a dream with me, not just to improve my family's life, but all of yours. I learned that challenges are disguised opportunities and that time teaches us valuable lessons, like the importance of perseverance and love for others." The audience stood up and applauded, moved by his words. Maria, the teacher, approached and asked, "Pedro, what's your next dream?" He smiled and replied, "To continue learning with time and with all of you. Together, we can go even further." Pedro's story shows us that regardless of where we come from, we are capable of great achievements when guided by determination and the desire to do good. He not only changed his family's destiny, but also illuminated the path for an entire community. And now I ask you, what lessons do you believe time has to teach us? Leave your opinion in the comments. We'd love to know what you think. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to leave a like and share it with your friends. And to keep receiving inspiring narratives like this one, subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications. Together we will spread messages that can transform lives. Thank you very much for joining us until here. Until next time.